You know that feeling, right, when an ad pops up online and it's too perfect.
Yeah, like they're reading your mind.
Exactly. It's not just coincidence. Every single digital move you make, well, it's building this incredibly detailed picture of you, who you are, what you want, maybe even what you're going to do next.
And those digital traces, they've become the raw material for something,
Yeah.
something really powerful and maybe a bit unsettling.
Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're plunging into, I think, one of the most critical shifts happening right now.
Mm.
How your personal data, your data, has become this powerful new commodity.
And we'll unpack the huge role AI plays in leveraging that data. And importantly, what it all means for, well, for democratic integrity, especially looking ahead to, say, the 2028 U.S. election.
Yeah, that's the core of it. Our mission today is really to get past the usual chat about privacy versus convenience.
Right. We want to reveal the deeper structures, explore how this new form of capital isn't just changing markets, it's actually altering the foundations of our democratic institutions.
Okay, so let's start at the beginning. The data itself. You've called it a digital facsimile of human experience, even base reality. What exactly do you mean by that?
Sure. Think of it like a constantly updating, super detailed mirror of your life online.
Every click, every search.
Every single thing,
Yeah.
every social connection, it all feeds into this base reality that companies are constructing about you. And look, it's not just a byproduct anymore. This systematic harvesting, it's a really fundamental shift in our political economy.
So it's gone from just being stuff we do online to something valuable.
Exactly. Your behavior, your preferences, your digital identity, it's all being extracted, refined, and turned into something they can trade.
So it's this progression you mentioned. Humans as base reality, then that data gets sold, selling your data, and then AI comes in as the AI's interface.
Precisely. Our lives, our behaviors, that's the base reality.
Mm.
And then info gets collected, traded often in ways we never see. That's the selling your data bit.
Yeah.
And the whole system, getting value out, pushing personalized stuff back to us,
Hmm.
that's all mediated by AI as interface. And the real tension here, it's not just, convenience versus privacy. It's deeper. It's our human dignity, our autonomy, versus this market logic that wants to make those things tradable.
That brings us right to this idea of data labor, it sounds like. Just by being online, we're all sort of working, producing this raw material for a massive digital economy.
Well, yeah, that's the argument. And the thing is, most of this labor is almost entirely uncompensated.
We're working for free, basically.
Effectively, yes.
Yeah.
Feeding the algorithms that power these enormous companies.
Mhm.
And this creates, a massive and ongoing transfer of value from people like us, the data poor, you could say,
Right. Most
and the
in
data
fact, yes.
rich, the tech giants, the data brokers. This isn't just about tech. It's a fundamental restructuring of political and economic power. Think about it.
Yeah.
If someone can predict your preferences, your weaknesses,
They have incredible leverage.
unprecedented leverage over you and ultimately over society, that's the power shift.
Okay, so it's obviously valuable, but how do you even put a price on it? Data's weird, right? It's non-rivalrous. You copy it, use it everywhere, and the original's still there.
Absolutely. That makes traditional valuation tough.
Hmm.
But three main models have kind of emerged.
Yeah.
First, market-based models. These look at income potential.
Hmm.
So direct revenue from data brokers like Axiom or Experian, or you can sort of infer the value from the huge market caps of Google and Meta. Their whole business is data.
Right, it's baked into their stock price.
Exactly. And we even see data marketplaces where, millions of emails might sell for pennies.
Hmm.
Then you have cost-based models. What did it cost to get it, store it, replace it? But that misses future value.
Seems limited.
It is. And third, there's economic value models, often used by governments, thinking about the broader public benefit, like how open government data can spark innovation.
So within all that, what makes one piece of data worth more than another?
Good question. Several key things. Type and sensitivity is a big one. Financial records, medical info, social security numbers. That's top dollar compared to basic demographics. Then quality, recency, accuracy. Is this correct? Complete, up to date, much more reliable insights. Uniqueness and breadth also matter if you've got exclusive data or a 360-degree view of someone.
That's gold.
That's very valuable. And finally, context and use case are huge. Shopping habits mean more to retailers near holidays. Geolocation data is critical for Uber during peak hours.
And I guess with all the regulations now, consent and legality must play a big role too. GDPR, CCPA.
Oh, absolutely. Data collected with clear consent,
Hmm.
following the rules like GDPR or CCPA.
Mhm.
It's more stable, less risky, so yeah, it's more valuable. It has that stamp of legitimacy, you could say.
Now, at the heart of all this, though maybe hidden for most of us, is the data brokerage industry. This market's massive, right? Going from like 305 billion USD now to maybe 585 billion by 2034.
It's enormous.
Yeah.
And growing steadily, about 7.5% a year. These brokers, they pull data from everywhere. Public records, social media, loyalty cards, all that online tracking.
Wow.
Then they package it up. Consumer data is the biggest chunk, about 58% of their revenue. And the biggest buyers, banks, financial services, insurance, the BFSI sector. They use it for everything: fraud detection, marketing.
Okay, but there's this weird thing people do, the privacy paradox. We say we care about privacy a lot, but then we hand over data for like a tiny discount or a free app. What's going on?
It's fascinating, isn't it? Behavioral economics 101. Some say, well, that just shows people don't really value privacy that much, the behavior valuation argument.
Yeah.
But others argue it's not a true preference. It's distorted, the behavior distortion argument.
Yeah.
Things like cognitive biases, not having enough information, or those sneaky dark patterns in website design nudge us into sharing.
And you argue this isn't just happening to us, it's being sort of engineered using
Yeah.
the endowment effect. Explain that.
Right. The endowment effect basically says we value things more once we feel we own them. So if you feel endowed with privacy, like it's yours to keep, you demand a higher price to give it up.
Makes sense.
But if the default is already sharing or data's already out there, you're willing to pay very little to get privacy back.
And
And platforms, they exploit this brilliantly. They make sharing the default.
so you're not being paid to opt in, you have to pay or lose convenience to opt out.
Exactly. They frame it as a WTP willingness to pay scenario, not a WTA willingness to accept payment scenario. It cleverly solves the paradox in their favor. It systematically devalues our data right at the point where we give it up.
So we've got data as capital, how it's valued, this hidden labor. But what if the data itself changes? What about creating data that isn't even, well, real? This distinction between real and synthetic data. You called real data the epistemic substrate. Sounds deep.
Huh, yeah. It just means real data is the raw truth, the direct recording of what we do online. Unfiltered?
Like an analog recording?
Exactly like an analog audio waveform. It has that richness, that continuity, infinite detail, but also the noise context, nuance. Its value is its fidelity, its truthfulness, but the liability. It's full of PII, personally identifiable information, huge privacy risks, heavy regulations. It's like that fragile, high-value master tape, costly, risky to handle.
Okay, so then synthetic data is the digital version, the MP3.
That's a great analogy. It's an algorithmic approximation,
Yeah.
a generated model. Like an MP3, it's discrete, it's generated, it samples key characteristics from the original analog source.
And how's it made?
Usually with advanced machine learning.
Yeah.
Generative adversarial networks, GANs, are common. They basically have two networks. One tries to create fake data, the other tries to spot the fake. They learn together.
Okay.
Or variational autoencoders, VAEs, which learn to compress and then reconstruct data. And of course, the big transformer models behind things like ChatGPT can generate synthetic text data.
But creating this involves trade-offs, right? This fidelity, privacy, utility trilemma.
That's the core challenge. You're always balancing three things. Fidelity, how well does the synthetic data match the real data's statistics? Utility, how useful is it for the intended task, like training an AI? And privacy, how well does it protect individuals from being re-identified?
And you can't maximize all three.
Usually not. If you crank up the privacy protection, maybe by adding noise using techniques like differential privacy, you often reduce the fidelity and the utility. It's an optimization puzzle. Really depends on what you need the data for.
So if we compare them side by side, real versus synthetic.
Okay, quick rundown. Real data. High privacy risk, high cost, perfect fidelity, high utility, limited scalability, contains real-world biases, high regulatory burden.
Got it. And synthetic.
Synthetic. Low or no privacy risk, lower cost eventually,
Yeah.
variable fidelity, variable utility depending on the task, highly scalable, can mitigate bias or introduce new ones, low regulatory burden. That's the appeal.
And despite those variables, the market for synthetic data is just booming. Over 300 million USD this year, growing at 35% annually.
It's exploding. Why? An insatiable demand for AI training data, especially in areas where real data is hard to get, expensive, or super restricted. Think healthcare, self-driving cars, finance.
So back to your MP3 analogy.
Right. Real data is the cumbersome master tape. Synthetic data is the portable, easy-to-share MP3. It enables a more fluid, scalable, and lower-friction data economy for AI development. It basically tries to abstract away all the messy legal, ethical, and privacy headaches of real data.
But that raises a huge question, doesn't it? If AI systems are trained on these simplified, digitized models, are they losing touch with the messy, nuanced, unpredictable analog truth of actual human experience?
That's a profound concern, and it
Mhm.
leads us straight into the governance question. Who controls this? Because treating personal data like any other commodity is, frankly, deeply contested.
How so? What are the main critiques?
Well, ethically, many see it as a moral wrong. It leads to legal political alienation, treating people as just means to an economic end, not ends in themselves. Data can become a toxic asset, harming individuals through discrimination or manipulation, and poisoning society by eroding equality, even democracy.
And politically.
Politically, it drives data inequality. It concentrates enormous power in just a few corporations, and this enables discrimination in insurance, credit, jobs. It puts profit ahead of well-being and justice.
Governments have responded, though. We mentioned GDPR and CCPA. They seem to represent really different philosophies.
Absolutely. The EU's GDPR comes from a fundamental rights tradition. It lays down principles: lawfulness, fairness, transparency, purpose limitation, data minimization, collect only what you need, accuracy, storage limits, security, and accountability over it all.
And the individual is the data subject, the owner.
Eventually, yes. Its spirit is kind of anti-commodification. It wants to constrain the market, reduce the supply of data flowing around.
Wait, then California's CCPA.
That comes more from a consumer rights perspective. It gives people rights: the right to know what's collected, to delete it, to opt out of sale or sharing. The newer CPRA added rights to correct data, limit sensitive info use.
So it's less about stopping the market, more about giving people tools within the market.
Exactly. CCPA implicitly acknowledges and legitimizes a data market, but aims to give consumers levers of control inside it. This creates that profound transatlantic divergence. GDPR tries to limit the market. CCPA tries to empower consumers to navigate it.
Beyond these big regulations, are new models emerging for ownership and control, more individual level.
Yes, several interesting ideas. Pay for privacy. You pay extra for services not to collect your data, but the critique is strong.
Mm.
Does privacy become a luxury good?
Yeah, only for those who can afford it.
Right. Then you have personal data marketplaces. Platforms like Datum, Data Wallet, promising you can sell your data directly, but they struggle with valuation, scale, and that darn privacy paradox.
And the techie one, self-sovereign identity.
SSI, yeah. Often uses blockchain. The idea is decentralized identity. You hold your credentials, your data, and you grant very specific revocable access. Think of a unified health record you control completely. It's seen as a pathway to true data ownership.
Okay, but what about collective action? You mentioned something really interesting, the data union model. Like labor unions, but for data.
Exactly. It draws direct inspiration from the 19th century labor movement. Data unions would pool members' data to create powerful collective bargaining units.
To counter the power imbalance?
Precisely. Instead of you alone trying to negotiate with a tech giant,
Yeah.
the union negotiates for everyone on data access, use, maybe compensation, transparency.
What could they demand?
They could demand revenue shares, set ethical red lines like you can't use our data for surveillance ads, or no sales to these political campaigns or government agencies. And importantly, they can tackle group-level harms, like algorithmic bias, which affect whole communities, not just individuals. Early examples like the Swash browser plugin show it's possible.
So lots of models, corporate extraction, pay for privacy, marketplaces, SSI, data unions, each with different trade-offs on who controls the data, who benefits, privacy levels, and the challenges involved.
It's a very dynamic space right now.
Okay, let's pivot and apply all this to the future, specifically the 2028 U.S. election. You predict AI will be the central organizing force of campaigning by then.
I think it's unavoidable. The new campaign machinery will absolutely rely on cloud platforms, AWS, Google Cloud, Azure, not just for storage, but for training custom AI models, generating endless content variations, analyzing data at scale.
Which means campaigns get even more tied to big tech.
A deep dependency, yes. And AI will drive huge efficiencies. Drafting emails, social posts tailored to tiny demographics, analyzing voter sentiment in real time, crunching polling data like never before.
And this enables that hyper-personalization, that psychographic micro-targeting, but on steroids compared to, say, Cambridge Analytica.
Oh, absolutely. That model inferring personality traits like openness, neuroticism from data gets supercharged and scaled by AI. AI can churn through massive data sets, browsing, shopping, location, social media, to build incredibly sophisticated psychographic profiles for millions. Some researchers literally call it a highly scalable manipulation machine.
So what does that mean for me, the voter, getting campaign messages?
It means generative AI crafting hyper-personalized political messages, targeting your specific psychological soft spots. Imagine thousands of slightly different ads. Fear-based ones for voters profiled as neurotic, unity themes for those deemed agreeable. And studies are already showing these tailored ads are more persuasive.
Wow. And generative AI for creating the ads themselves, videos, text, everything.
Everything. There are constructive uses, sure. AI could generate easy summaries of complex policies or visualize issues. We're already seeing AI voice cloning for multilingual outreach, the candidate's voice speaking different languages, like in India.
Okay, but the flip side.
The destructive side is worrying. We saw glimpses in 2024 that fake Biden robocall, the RNC's AI dystopia ad. By 2028, the tech will be better, cheaper, easier. Think highly realistic deepfake videos, audio images, churned out to smear opponents or just confuse everyone.
So does this tech level the playing field? Or does it just make the powerful even more powerful? There's a debate there.
There is. The democratization argument says, hey, tools like ChatGPT, Midjourney are cheap or free. Small campaigns can now make slick content, lowering the barrier to entry.
Okay, sounds good.
But the counter-argument, which I find more convincing, is that the true strategic advantage isn't just the tools, it's the massive unique data sets needed to train custom models effectively. It's the huge computing power. It's the top-tier human talent.
And that's still with the big players.
That's the exclusive domain of well-funded national campaigns, major parties, and yeah, the tech giants providing the infrastructure.
So you predict a two-tiered AI campaign structure in 2028. Small players with basic tools, big players with custom AI, massive data, doing that deep micro-targeting.
I think that's likely. AI might not be the great equalizer. It could create a new and decisive axis of political inequality based on data and computational supremacy.
Which leads us directly into the disinformation dilemma, how AI threatens the information we rely on for democracy. By 2028, the tools to manufacture unreality will be common.
Advanced and accessible, yes.
We're talking deepfakes, primarily.
Deepfake synthetic media are a big part. Jans, diffusion models making convincing face swaps, animating photos, cloning voices. By 2028, fakes of politicians saying or doing things they never did could be nearly indistinguishable from reality, spreading fabricated scandals, false statements.
And it's not just video and audio, right? Text, too.
Oh, yeah. Large language models can pump out vast quantities of coherent text. Think automated social media bots, flooding platforms, fake local news websites popping up, forums filled with divisive comments, all at a scale and speed humans just can't match.
The scary part isn't just being fooled, is it? It's deeper.
The most insidious threat is the fundamental breakdown of our ability to tell what's real. An erosion of shared reality, which is, essential for democracy.
And this creates that effect you called the liar's dividend. What is that again?
It's a critical second-order effect. Once everyone knows things can be faked easily, bad actors can dismiss real evidence against them as just a deep fake.
Ah, so actual wrongdoing gets hidden in the noise.
Exactly. Someone gets caught on video doing something wrong. They just say, oh, that's a deep fake. It muddies the water, allows them to dodge accountability. It undermines the very concept of objective evidence.
And this constant threat, this doubt, it must just kill public trust.
It's corrosive. Cynicism, skepticism about everything, news, government, the election itself. Studies already show exposure to deepfakes makes people trust news less, feel more uncertain. It could lead to widespread political disengagement, people just tuning out.
Plus, the AI that personalizes ads can also personalize our news feeds, right? Making filter bubbles even worse.
Putting the filter bubble on overdrive, yeah. Those algorithms on Facebook, YouTube, TikTok, they're optimized for engagement. They learn your biases, feed you more of what keeps you scrolling, reinforcing what you already believe.
So we get more polarized.
This algorithmic feedback loop limits exposure to different views, creates ideological segregation. By 2028, you could have large chunks of the population living in entirely separate AI-curated information realities. Where basic facts are disputed, how do you have a democratic debate then?
Okay. It sounds pretty grim. What can actually be done? It feels like we need a multi-layered defense. What about tech solutions?
Well, there's a technological arms race happening. On one side, detection algorithms trying to spot AI fakes but looking for tiny flaws. That's big at computer science conferences.
Fending the cells.
Right. On the other side, provenance tech. Things like secure digital watermarks or cryptographic signatures. The C2PA standard is a good example. It's like a secure label embedded in content saying, here's where this came from, here's how it's been altered.
But these aren't foolproof, are they?
Definitely not. Detection tech always lags behind the generation tech. It's a constantly moving target. Lots of false positives, false negatives. Relying only on detection is risky. It's cat and mouse.
What about laws and regulations?
It's happening, but slowly, and it's tricky. At the state level, you see laws requiring disclosure this image was manipulated. Some states are trying to ban materially deceptive deepfakes close to elections.
And federally?
Bills are proposed, like the AI Transparency in Elections Act for disclosure on federal ads. But outright bans, they run into huge First Amendment challenges. Courts are very wary of restricting political speech, even potentially false speech. It's a complex legal knot.
So what about the platforms themselves? Meta, Google, X, and election officials?
Platforms face immense pressure to self-regulate, labeling AI content, taking down harmful deepfakes, being transparent about their algorithms. But let's be honest, their core business model, maximizing engagement, often conflicts with creating a healthy information ecosystem.
True, and election administrators.
They're cautiously looking at AI for administrative stuff, voter registration, optimizing polling sites. But they're very hesitant about sensitive things like verifying ballot signatures with AI because of bias and trust concerns. Plus, election offices are now prime targets for AI-enhanced cybersecurity threats. Super personalized phishing attacks, DDoS attacks.
So if tech isn't perfect, and regulation is slow and complex, and platforms have conflicting interests, it really comes down to us, the people, the human
Yeah.
firewall.
I think that has to be a huge part of it, yes. Since perfect detection and regulation seem impossible, empowering voters to be more discerning consumers of information is critical. It's a human-centered defense.
Which means media literacy.
On a massive scale, a massive sustained investment in media literacy at all levels. Teaching practical skills, lateral reading, checking multiple sources before trusting something, understanding the economic incentives of platforms, recognizing the signs of manipulative content, AI-generated or otherwise. Without empowering the public, the other layers are much weaker.
Okay, so bringing this all home, no silver bullet.
No single countermeasure works alone. It has to be a holistic socio-technical defense system. Tech tools, legal rules, corporate responsibility, and crucially, a media-literate public. If one layer fails, the whole thing is compromised.
And fundamentally, you're saying the threat AI poses to democracy isn't really just about the tech itself.
Right. It's a problem of political economy and governance. The integrity of the 2028 election and future ones doesn't just depend on spotting deepfakes. It depends on rebalancing power in the data economy and reasserting human and civic values over unchecked market forces.
So the recommendations flow from that. Policymakers need to be proactive, maybe embrace ideas like data minimization from GDPR, and support collective models like data unions.
Exactly. Shift to proactive governance. Champion collective data governance. Tech companies need radical transparency and provenance, maybe even rethinking their core business models. And civil society educators, they have to mandate and scale media literacy, drive public conversation on data ethics.
So the final takeaway is the fix isn't just code.
The solution cannot be found in code alone. It has to be forged through a democratic renegotiation. Our relationship with data, with the platforms mediating our reality, needs a fundamental rethink.
A powerful thought to end on. So for everyone listening, what steps will you take now to better understand the digital traces you leave behind and how they might be shaping your world?